Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Alex Trujillo here from FlightScope, and I have my colleague Tyler Burnett. Today, we're going to cover getting to know the Mevo Plus a little more in depth. And if you guys have joined us in the previous one, we kind of changed our platforms around a little bit just to give the user a little bit better experience. But we want to fill you guys in with all the information you have. We have. So, Tyler, how you doing, bud?
All good.
Awesome. Tyler, maybe you can fill everyone in on our status of Mevo Plus and our production team in South Africa. Just give everyone an update, especially for those that are waiting for their product.
Yeah, we're getting some good news this week, and there'll be more to come hopefully on Thursday or Friday this week. But it looks like we're going to be able to get some of our production team back in the office on Friday. It probably won't be at a full capacity, but at least we'll be able to get started on Friday. So we'll provide an update a little bit later this week. And if anyone has any direct questions that they want to reach out, where our sales and support teams are available on live chat on the websites, via email, phone call. So please feel free to reach out. But yeah, things are looking good for our team to get back in this Friday.
Yeah, it's awesome. And just to reiterate that point, as soon as we can go full capacity, we'll run nonstop until we get caught up with everyone. So just please hang in there with us. We're trying our very best to get you guys your product and get you going. So, all right, well, let's get going with the Mevo Plus. I will, throughout the session, I'll probably invite up our CEO, Henry Johnson. He'll have some questions for you guys or answer some questions for you guys. And we also have some polls down in the bottom that you can check out. A few questions there. Henry added a few, so you guys can put answers in there. All right, so let's get going with this slideshow here. One second, here we go. All righty, so getting to know the Mevo Plus. For those of you that aren't aware, these are the data parameters that we provide on the Mevo Plus. So you have carry distance, club head speed, ball speed, spin rate, smash factor, vertical launch, horizontal launch, very big one there, key one, angle of attack, total and roll distances, your spin axis and your spin loft, lateral landing, apex height, flight time, and shot shape. So that's one of the biggest differences between this model and the previous model, the Mevo, or let's call it the Model 1 and Model 2. In the Mevo, we only provided you with 8 data parameters, and there wasn't any horizontal angle, so it was very difficult to give shot shapes or do any type of gaming or scoring. So with the Mevo Plus, now you have more enhanced data and gives you the ability to do your skills as well as your games. So the other difference that I just want everybody to be aware of is that it is a little bit bigger radar than the regular Mevo, and it also has an internal boresight camera. So that all obviously assists in the performance of the unit. So there's all your data parameters. Let us know if you have any questions on that. I'm going to go through a couple more slides, and then we'll take some questions. I'm sure there's a lot of questions. So switching on the Mevo Plus, very important. So at the top of your unit, you're going to have your power button. You're going to press and release that, and your Mevo Plus is going to power on. You also want to ensure that on your device, whether you're using an iPad or your iPhone, that you have your Wi-Fi on. The Mevo Plus does connect via Wi-Fi. It does not use Bluetooth. That is another difference between the Mevo and the Mevo Plus. So ensure that your Wi-Fi is on. And then once you have your Wi-Fi on, you're going to go ahead and launch your FS Golf app. On the back of your Mevo Plus, you're going to have a barcode or QR code. You can scan that QR code to connect to the unit, or you can do it, I guess, the old-fashioned way. You can go into your iPhone settings. You can go to your Wi-Fi, and your channel will pop up. It should be the serial number of the unit. So, for example, it would say something like M2-001234. So that's I guess the longer way to go about connecting. The easiest way is to just use the QR code on the back. And then once you have your connected, you're going to get your green light on the front of the unit. Some status indicators here for the unit. So you have your battery indications. So when it's charging, you'll see your blue lights, and there's your percentages of battery percentage. And then in use, you'll see your colors on the right-hand side here of this slide for 75%, 50%, and all the way down till it's completely dead. So just make sure that you guys get familiar with this. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, or you can also reach out to our support team. Now, the indicators on the front. So your first indicator on the left, that's your connection status. White is going to be off, ready is going to be blue, and connected is green. And then you have your radar statuses, kind of looks like the little heartbeat signal. There you're going to have the two most important ones are your green for your standby mode and your red for your armed and ready to measure. So always remember that when you look back to your unit before you hit a shot, if you see that red heartbeat sign, that means that the unit is armed and ready to track a shot. Some indications on our setup. So the Mevo Plus allows you to use 3 different setups. You have your outdoor, you have your indoor, and you have your short indoor. In the outdoor, that's going to be anytime that there is unrestricted ball flight. And we want to make sure that we have our sensor to T distance 7 to 9 feet. Okay, outdoors, a metallic dot is not required. In the indoor mode, you're going to have a metallic dot on the golf ball, and we recommend that metallic dot is facing the target or facing the net. And then you want to have a minimum of 13 feet of ball flight, and you want to have 8 feet from sensor to tee. And then on your short indoor side, again, the metallic dot is required. You want to have 8 feet of ball flight and 8 feet of sensor to tee. So if in your typical garage setups or in your home, I'm sure that most of you are going to be using the short indoor mode. I'm going to take a brief pause there, and I'm going to take some questions from Tyler.
Okay, yeah, so we have the first question here from Ashley. I have heard that when using Mevo Plus, I may have to change the height of the unit for different clubs to get accurate readings. Is this true?
So we recommend that the unit is at the same level as the ground where the ball is placed. So for example, let's say that I have my unit on the ground and I'm hitting off of a 1-inch mat. That difference there isn't gonna cause any huge issues with it. What we don't want to have is where your unit might be on the ground and then you're hitting off of like a 6-inch mat. At that point, you want to try to get the unit and the ground level as even as possible. But that's not going to, 1 or 2 inches is not going to affect the unit. And we always recommend, or we require, that the golf ball is never below the horizon of the unit. So you want to kind of keep a level surface. Now, if you're hitting off of a tee, there's no problem there. The unit does account for that, and it can see the ball being hit off the tee. So good question.
And then, yeah, we have kind of a double question here. So Jonathan and Steve are both wondering about the reported issues regarding the charger and running on external power, combined with unexpected and now widely accepted fact that usage of the included USB cable is a must. What are FlightScope plans to address some of these issues?
So the US cable, the USB cable that we provide with the charging block is important, because that is what supplies a unit with the correct amount of voltage and amperage needed. If you try to interchange that block, it can cause damage to the internal boards. So we recommend that you use the provided accessories. We are looking into some options of getting some longer cables. And we are also looking at the developers and the engineers are also looking at the firmware side of things to see what we can do about charging while in use. So yet we are very aware of it, and we are looking to make some improvements on that end.
Okay. And then a question here from Matthew. Is the angle of attack measurement solely reliant on presetting the distance between the ball and the unit, or is it being observed to some extent as well?
So we do track the club and the ball simultaneously and independently. You don't have to, the sensor to tee distance is not really that crucial unless you get inside or outside of the recommended range. So for example, if you put the unit at, let's say, 6 feet of sensor to tee, it might read the shot. However, the firmware and the unit is not designed to register from that distance. So the angles could be incorrect because of the way that the unit is seeing the club coming into the impact area. So the sensor to tee distance is important. If you stay within the ranges that we recommend, your angle of attack will be measured correctly. If you're outside of those ranges, then we can't guarantee that accuracy.
Okay, and then maybe just one more that I'm seeing pop up a few times here, but maybe just talk briefly about the sending the data from the applications to a coach or a teacher, and also with the data going to myflightscope.com.
Yes. So if you're using the FS Golf app, you can share your data on your social media platforms. For example, you can share a video with some data through Facebook, Instagram, text, email, whatever you like. The actual numerical data that's compiled in that session, once you're connected to internet, which is if you're on your cell phone, it should always have some type of connection. When that session is complete, that data will be pushed to your myflightscope.com account. And on myflightscope.com, you can see your sessions. However, if you record a session on your iPhone and then you record a session on your iPad, there is no way to actually see the session from the iPhone on the iPad because those devices are not communicating. The only way to see all of your sessions is on myflightscope.com if you are using multiple devices.
Okay. Do you want to take one more, or are you gonna?
Yeah, let's do one more. I know we're gonna have a few, so let's take one more and then we'll continue with the slideshow.
Okay. Okay, so we have a question here from Steve. Is the camera parallax corrected with the radar on the Mevo Plus?
Repeat that. I lost you there.
Is the camera parallax corrected with the radar on the Mevo Plus?
By camera, are they referring to the internal camera or the camera that you're using with your phone?
I believe he's referring to the internal camera.
So the internal camera is simply used for your alignment purposes. So getting your unit on target and aligned to the proper target. So there isn't any type of corrections that we need to do there. All right, so we'll continue here with the slideshow, and then we'll take some more questions here shortly. So very important, the area between your Mevo Plus and where you're striking the golf ball needs to be clear. Try to keep, golf bags, chairs, couches, fans. Try to keep these things clear out of this area. The radar is sensitive and it can pick up different things within the room. You want to make sure that you keep it level. We talked about this earlier. Again, if you have a slight, 1-inch difference between the radar and the ball, it's not going to be super critical. However, if you keep it level, you're going to get the best data available. And then some things to consider when you're in your indoor space. Low hanging fluorescent lighting can affect the radar. It creates noise in the environment. Any type of metal objects that are behind the hitting net or in the radar's view can also affect the radar. Fans in the computers, fans from your refrigerators, AC wall units, low-hanging fans, anything that is creating movement in the room, the radar can see that the signals will bounce off of it. So you just want to try to keep your environment as clean as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that because you have a light in your room, a fluorescent light, that it's going to affect the radar. However, if it is low-hanging or it is in the radar's view, it can affect the data. So if you feel like you're experiencing some of these issues with something in the room, feel free to contact our support team and then they can look into your environment a little closer. But just remember that, I know that in a lot of these setups, you're going to have computers and stations that have internal fans. Just try to keep it away from the radar as much as you can and out of the sight. So the space from the radar to the net, just keep it as open and as clean as possible. Mevo Plus, everyone knows it comes with the E6 Connect. You get 5 golf courses. These are the golf courses that it's included. You also get 17 practice ranges and an online mini game. Tyler, I'm going to let you just touch on E6 and some of the other softwares that we have available, if you want to maybe fill everybody in.
Yeah, so you can see on the screen right now on the slideshow what's included with your purchase of the Mevo Plus, and those of you that already have it obviously know that, but we do have some other options that you can add on. So E6 Connect has 2 subscription options. So the first one is a basic package for $300 per year. And that one includes, I believe it includes around 15 golf courses, gives you some more practice ranges. So yeah, that's a way that you can get additional golf courses through the basic package at 300. And then they also have an expanded pack, which basically gives you everything that they offer for 600 per year. So those are 2 add-on options if you're interested in more courses and more features through E6. The other option that we have is the golf club, which is another option that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. It's a one-time purchase. It is a little bit higher price, but it's around $930 US, and it gets you access to a bunch of really good features, over 150,000 courses. So if you're interested in any of that, we will be listing that on our websites, both of our websites, FlightScope.com and FlightScopeMevo.com, relatively shortly. But again, if you have any specific questions, just reach out to our sales team.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right, we'll move along here. So simulator setup. So the Mevo Plus is going to come with the simulator angle. Very important to note. If you're using the FS Golf app or the FS Skills app, the Mevo Plus, the kickstand or the leg is going to be extended all the way out. That's going to put the unit anywhere between 16 to 18 degrees, and that is what's required for those applications. If you're using the Mevo with your simulator where you're going to be putting, so E6, obviously you'll be putting, any of the other softwares, it is important that the simulator angle is used. You'll simply place the angle over the top of the Mevo, and it will set the leg, the back leg, to the 12-degree angle that is required for simulator. In the simulator setup, you want to make sure, again, that you have your at least 8 feet of center to tee, and then your ball flight at minimum of 8 feet. Obviously, 13 or more would be best, but 8 feet is fine, and don't forget the metallic dot. When you go to putt, all you'll simply have to do is just move your ball back a foot, or let's say closer to the radar, and your center to tee distance should be 7 feet. So you'll basically hit full swings from 8 feet and you'll putt from 7. We have had some customers say that they've used it, all of it, at 7 feet center to tee, and that's fine. If it works for you, great. It's just for full accuracy and for us to be able to guarantee the data, these are the requirements that we've stated. So another key thing that we have going, so our social media is moving, all of it is moving to FlightScope Golf. Tyler, maybe you can fill them in a little bit more on that.
Yeah, just briefly, we've made the decision to just combine our social media platforms for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and even LinkedIn. So yeah, if you get a second, please follow us on FlightScope Golf. We will be closing out the Mevo social media platforms on Friday this week, May 1st. So please go ahead and follow us. We will be giving away some FlightScope swag too. So if you're able to do that, go follow FlightScope Golf. Alex is wearing the hat there, so you'll be entered into a drawing to win some pretty cool FlightScope stuff that we have at our office. So please follow us if you get a chance.
Awesome, sounds good. And yeah, so there's some of the ways you can contact us. So FlightScopeMevo.com. There's our phone number and also our social media platforms. I'm going to close out this slideshow and we'll take some more questions.
Yeah, a few things I'm seeing a couple of times here in the questions is the Mevo Plus and Android. So maybe if you can just give a quick update on that.
Yeah, so we are very close. We of course we're gonna have the FS Skills for Android. We're gonna have the FS Golf. We are getting very, very close for a full release, and I expect it to be, within hopefully the next couple of weeks, maybe sooner. But just watch our social media platforms. We'll probably send an email blast once it's ready, but we are very close. We're in the final stages, getting ready for release. So that's very good news.
Okay, great. And then a question here from Kyle. Can you touch base on the requirements with Wi-Fi? Do you always need to be connected to Wi-Fi or a cellular signal?
Good question. So you can connect your Mevo to any device via the Wi-Fi of the radar. The Wi-Fi is just to establish connection. It does not produce an internet signal. So if you have an iPad without cellular service, an iPhone without cellular service, a computer that doesn't have internet, you can still connect to the unit and use the application. However, for the data to go up to myflightscope.com, you do have to have some type of internet, which is one of the reasons why we did the application on the phones, is because both, most phones, you can obviously have a cellular signal and the Wi-Fi signal. So you can basically connect to both. The other thing to remember is that the FS Golf app is pulling from your local weather station, because we do take weather into account in the measurements. So it's important that there is cellular data. However, if there is no cellular data, you're just going to get, your normalized data, so to speak.
Also, I just want to make a comment here because I'm seeing a lot of suggestions and stuff, and we really appreciate that. So please keep them coming with the suggestions. I just want to let everyone know that the people that are making the suggestions, we do have our app and development teams on this session as well. So they're kind of following along, and it's really appreciated. So please feel free to email us, call us. Again, any suggestions that you have on the apps or ways that we can improve are always appreciated. Also, please look out for emails. If you are a customer, we're going to be sending out some surveys too to get some more feedback. So just wanted to mention that because I'm seeing a good bit of suggestions here in the question section. I have Jock asking if we can go back to the question related to data sharing. Where should we look at in the app to share the data?
Okay, so let's say that you're in the application and you want to, let's say you take a video with data. So currently right now, to share the video, you have to actually take a video with the application. So if you don't have video capturing on, it won't give you that option. So you'll have to take the video, go into the review, and then once you're in the video with the data blocks, you can actually share the video there. If you're just looking to share data, then you'll have to go to myflightscope.com and pull it from there. We are looking at ways to just share numerical data straight from the application as well. So videos are done through the application, and then the numerical data is done on the myflightscope.com.
Yeah, just to also comment on that, if you do share on social media, please tag us, and we can share on our end as well. So, okay, a question here on the E6. So the E6 license is only for mobile devices, cannot be used with a computer. Does it expire?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, I can answer that. So yeah, the courses and the package that comes with the product does not expire. You own that for the life of the unit. If you do decide to add on courses, say the basic or the expanded packs from E6 or the golf club, so E6 packages are annual subscriptions. So those would expire every year and you would have to renew. Okay, a question from Tom. For the garage door, what type of mesh do you recommend and how much does it cost? Does FlightScope sell it?
So what we've used is you can actually go to like Lowe's or Home Depot or any of your supply stores, and it's going to be like an insect mesh. It's like a very thin metal screen. It's like, I'd say it's like not even an inch by an inch. It's maybe even smaller than that. We can get you, if you email support@flightscope.com with your question, we can have our support team maybe send you a link of what we've used. But yeah, you just basically buy a sheet of that and just hang it behind your net, and then that will stop the basically preventing the signals from bouncing back off anything you have on the background. So if Tyler, if you're ready, I'm going to see if Henry's online and we'll bring him on. And I know he had 2 poll questions that he had asked the viewers. and maybe he can come on and answer them and give them some information on that. Let me bring him on here. So he should be coming up. Nice thing about this platform, it seems to be connection seems to be good. Video quality seems to be good. Does everybody hear us loud and clear and can see us good?
I'm not seeing Henry on my end yet.
Yeah, he's pulling up. Okay, so I'll just take a few more questions while we're getting him on board. So I see here. Alex Elder is asking, someone else mentioned the ability to include an altitude adjustment feature that would provide more accurate numbers relative to the location. I live at 4,500 feet and only get results for 0 elevation. So yes, we are looking at that. Also, the weather information that's being pulled in from the local API, we'll have some of that information. So you are, because there is pressure and stuff like that, you are getting a truer reading. But yes, we are going to try to add something where you can change your altitudes. And I see there's some questions about whether I'd like to have Henry answer those. Let me try one more time to get him back on here. Also, there's some questions on the combines. There's Henry.
Hi.
Henry, how you doing, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
Doing well. So for those of you that don't know, this is Henry Johnson. He's the inventor and CEO of FlightScope. So he's the brains behind this beautiful product that we have.
Well, there are quite a few brains that's working with me. So I started this whole thing, but I must say we are very blessed to have a great team of developers around us, both back in South Africa and in Poland. So it's a pretty big team.
Awesome. So Henry, we have some questions on the webinar, but I know you had some polls that you had put up. So I'll just maybe let you take over those poll questions and give some explanations on it.
All right. So I see that quite a few people actually voted on the polls. I actually would love to get some more people onto it before I answer the polls. I would like to point out, if you look down below at your screen, you'll see there's a poll, and it'll show polls with the number 2. So I put 2 polls on there. The first question there is, at sea level, what carry distance would you get for 150 mile per hour ball speed, a launch of 12 degrees, and backspin of 3,000 RPM? So if you haven't checked that poll yet, go for it. Take a hit, and then you can also, the next one there is, what is Bryson DeChambeau's typical 7-iron ball speed? I put it down there, and see some votes there. I think there's one that actually needs a decimal. I have to fix that decimal. Actually, Alex, maybe you can fix it, because I'm not sure if I can fix it right at the moment. I'm actually in the spectator mode. So just put the 133.6. It's just 0.6 that you need to fix the edited. But anyway, so yeah. So or make it 136. I think. Change the poll. All right. So the nice thing about this platform is that we can actually add polls and all kinds of stuff, and the polls are quite interesting because it's gonna help you to learn something while we're busy with things. I've actually used our environmental optimizer to calculate some of the distances, so it's not pulled out of the air. So let's see. Let's get a few more answers there. We've got 439 people on the webinar. So I would like you all to take a shot at it and see where you come, and then I'll discuss the results of the polls a little bit later. But if there are any questions there specifically, just shoot. I saw one question which I tried to answer was, somebody said that in the skills app they find that the distances are somewhat different to their FlightScope Golf app. Now, that is the case because we decided to make a early release on the skills for Mevo Plus so people can get going, but it's got a fixed environmental setting. In other words, it's not going to adjust according to your environment. Therefore, at the moment, the skills would be normalized only. So it's just to one standard sea level condition, which is typically 59 Fahrenheit, 1013 millibar, 50% humidity cut type of thing. That's gonna be slightly different. But the good news is once you know your distances there, you can at least consistently play against yourself or other people around it. I also saw another question there about somebody saying that they like the TrackMan combine. To be quite honest, people have different tastes, and that's good. But I would say that whatever anybody else has got in a combine, I'm not sure if you know, but you can design any combine as a test in FlightScope skills. And we actually have the ability to even make some private competitions for you. You can actually inquire with Alex, and we can show you how that can be done. So that's got a 20-second delay onto a web platform. So these are things that are in the back end that people don't know about, but it's quite exciting stuff. So you can actually run combines and competitions using the FlightScope skills on the back end as well.
Awesome. And I see here, Henry, just to answer this question again, I think this user ML came on a little late, but it says, important question to the CEO, will production in South Africa restart beginning of May? So yes, ML, we believe 1 May, we're going to be not 100%, but we will be starting our production back up.
Yeah, so we canceled the public holiday for our production on the 1st of May. So we are starting on Friday. We of course have to do it in a phased approach, but we've got enough people that we can actually make a very good start. There's some very good news for people on the waiting list. I don't know where you are on waiting list if you've ordered. All I know is that some people will be very happy because there's a shipment sitting at the airport at Cape Town that will be shipped as I would say within the next few days after the 1st of May. So there will be quite a few very happy people that's going to get their Mevos and Mevo Pluses. And then the rest of the production's kicking in full steam, and we'll be working as hard as we can to catch up on the backlog. We are very excited that South Africa has opened up, and we are not dependent on China. We are actually fully capable back in the Cape Town area. And last year already, this time, we pulled back a lot of the plastics and metal parts that we had made in China. And it's now, most of that is, everything's done in Cape Town, South Africa, and in some parts in Europe and Switzerland and so on. But we are not dependent on China at the moment at all, and that's very good news for us.
Awesome. So Henry, so let me look at the polls here. It looks like we have a lot more votes. Do you maybe want to knock one of those out?
Yes, let's do that. So, okay. For the sea level question, carry distance at 150 mile per hour ball speed. I was thinking that we're going to get much more towards the upper range there, but it seems that the group of people that we have here are pretty educated. Well done. So the right answer is 247 yards, typically at sea level, depending on the weather conditions at sea level. But I've heard so many times from, especially men, amateur men, for some reason, every amateur man that I've met hits 280 yards or 270 yards with their driver. I'm not sure why, but everybody hits it, irrespective of their ball speed. But 247 yards is the right answer. And that's the carry distance. It's if you hit 150 mile per hour ball speed, and you have 3,000 spin and 12 degrees launch angle, that is exactly what it's going to be. It's not going to be much different to that. But even at sea level, if the pressure changes, you're going to get differences. If the temperature changes, if the humidity changes, that will affect it. Sea level isn't sea level all the time in terms of the air density. And that's the beautiful thing about having our environmental optimizer. You can actually go on the website on FlightScope.com and actually look under the products. There's a trajectory optimizer, And there you can actually put in some of these parameters and see what they do. Okay, let's look at the next one. What is Bryson DeChambeau's typical 7-iron ball speed? It's not a bad guess, but it's more around the 136 mile per hour that he hits his 7-iron. Remember, all his irons are the same length, so his 7-iron is typically a 6-iron length, I would guess. Alex, is that true?
He's gravitated closer to the 7s, like 36 and a half. So,
but he swings a little hard, so he typically goes to like 99 miles per hour with his club head speed. He was swinging 96 last year. This time he's now swinging like 99.
Yeah, I think he's putting golf balls through nets now, so he's swinging fast.
He swings hard. But so 136 miles per hour is the right answer. I'm going to put some more polls up because now I'm going to ask you some more things about this particular shot that you might not know. So just watch the polls. Thank you.
That was good. Thanks, Henry.
Okay.
All right. So, does anybody on the webinar have any questions that they'd like to? We can invite you up if you want to share your video, and we can have you on and you can ask us your question. Just let me know in the comments section, and I can bring you in. So also, we do have some special guests today. We have some of the AJGA on. So for those members of the AJGA, we just wanted to say welcome. Hope you're learning a little bit about the Mevo Plus and what it can do for your organization and your players. So thank you and welcome. Greg just asked, how do you watch this again? So at the end of the webinar, once we close the session out, it will download and create a replay video, and then that will be shared with you. Just check your emails and you'll see it on there. You can also follow us on Crowdcast. So anytime that we post a webinar, you'll get an alert about the upcoming webinar. We are planning on having a special guest on Friday for a Q&A session. As soon as I get a time scheduled, we'll publish that, and it'll be a good one. So I think you guys will be excited about that. Tyler, any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I think I just want to comment really quick because I keep seeing it just on the lead times for units. So I just wanted to comment again and just say, please reach out to us at sales@FlightScopeMevo.com or on our live chat on our website, and we can help get you some estimates on that. I do have a question here. Do you have any solutions for a garage setting with a left-handed and right-handed player that needs to move the unit 1 to 2 feet?
Obviously the best setup would be to have the unit where both players can hit from either side. However, if you don't have that capability, one thing that you can do is, I've seen several different things actually. I've seen some customers that actually build like a little wooden platform for the unit on some rollers and on a track, and you can basically roll the unit from one position to the other. One of our customers, Will Lozano, has that in his setup, and it works really nicely. Inexpensive, just puts it on a track and rolls it. Or you can physically move the unit. It does have an internal camera for alignment purposes, and that's why we created it with that to make it easier. That's probably your best way to do it at the moment. Or you can just mark locations on your floor, on your mat, of where the unit would be for both a left-handed or a right-handed player. If you're playing an E6 and you have to move the unit, just make sure that when you do move the unit that you make sure that 12-degree angle is set back to the unit when you're moving it.
Okay, coming up on 40 minutes here. Maybe we can just take 1 or 2 more. Why is there 2 separate indoor distances?
So as far as short indoor and indoor?
Yes.
I'm guessing that's okay. So the preferred indoor distance would be 8 feet of sensor to tee distance and then 13 feet of ball flight. The more ball flight that we have indoors, I don't want to say the more accurate, because it's accurate in the short indoor mode, but it gives the radar that much more time to see the golf ball. So for example, let's say we have a long driver hitting drivers on the Mevo in the short indoor mode. That golf ball is probably not even going to have a full revolution before it hits the net. So if we can extend the ball flight to 13 feet, it gives the ball more time to complete a revolution so that the radar can accurately pick up all the data. So that's really what we're trying to cover there. So if you have high ball speeds and you're in the short indoor mode, and you struggle with some of the distances or spins, just be aware of that you might have to give yourself a little more ball flight. But we just want to be versatile and give customers the options of using either or, depending on your setup. Some people have the 21 feet of total space, others only have 16. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Hey, Mark, saw your message there. Thank you, sir. All right, you guys. So we're going to keep doing these webinars on a weekly basis. It might not always be Mevo Plus. It might be about our other products, but typically we're going to run them on Tuesdays, and then on Fridays, we're going to do some Q&As with special guests. Hopefully I can confirm today and this Friday, we're going to have a very special guest, a guest that's playing on the PGA Tour and has some major victories. So we'll get you some information as soon as we lock that in. And, we'll be excited to see you guys again on these webinars. Feel free to email us any comments or concerns. For those of you who questions weren't answered, we will get a printout of all the questions at the end, and our sales team will make sure to email each and every one of you back on an answer to your questions. So thanks again for your time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, Tyler.